Hey guys, XJ here, and today is going to be a patch 12.12 notes. I'll try to be fast again as usual, but I don't really care. I've been streaming on Twitch as well lately, so maybe you should catch me on there if you want to watch me play League. So yeah, we're gonna go on now. So with Mumu, mana cost on his Q was 70 mana, now it's 30 to 50. R Curse of the Sad Mummy, damage was 150 to 350, now it's 200 to 400. So first off, both buffs are actually huge. Well, he's a tank by design, so any damage buff on a tank is usually pretty huge because, yeah, it's also AoE, so that's a lot more damage. It's potentially like in a three-man scenario, you can do 150 more damage, which is pretty huge. Another thing is the bandage cost is a ginormous change. So, again, it kind of annoys me that they talk about support, like making support viable when it's like I don't think making support viable should be necessarily a goal, just because I feel like jungle could have used something. But like, for instance, they could have easily just said we want to make jungle better, and as a consequence, this could have still been a support buff. Um, I was a fan of just buffing his mana per level, as his mana pool is actually extremely low. But this change is alright too, just because at max rank his Q doesn't cost 70 mana, it's only 50. I'm not sure if maxing Q is better second or third. It's kind of the issue with maxing now with this mana cost scaling is it'll use up more mana. Um, right now Jungle Mumu's only struggle is he's actually very strong, but his biggest issue is mana when jungling. Because if you can use your Q to go from camp to camp consistently, you speed clear like crazy. He's really fast. The only bad thing is he actually just runs out of mana. I'm not sure if that could have been circumvented by like building Frozen Heart, but the thing with jungle is like you can't really build Frozen Heart first. You have to build like some form of damage item, which is like, Frostfire or Aegis or something like that. So, uh, this change is actually a ginormous buff to Mumu Jungle. He's probably actually quite strong in the jungle right now because you can now freely go from camp to camp and not run out of mana. So yeah, and I'm joking. If you like a Mumu or want to pick him up, I would definitely play him now. Now I would probably even play him now. Like I will probably play him, just because my only issue with him was he has such a low mana pool. He runs out of mana so fast. So again, I might max Q's third just because the mana cost scales and the cooldown didn't get like buffed or anything. So yeah, Annie. All that happened with Annie was her AP ratio on her Q was bumped up by 5%, and Tipper's base HP was increased by 100. So yeah, on all ranks, so it doesn't. So it's just 100 more HP. Um, the base MR was also was increased mid and late game by 10 and 20 on levels 11 and 16. So very small buffs. She's still solid. So didn't need money. So I'm not sure how she's doing, but I don't know. Belveth, this is a big topic right here. So um, first off, I want to say that the health regen it was 8.5, now it's 6, and so the growth was 0.85, now it's zero point 0.6. Health regen at level 18 was 22.0 to 95, now it's 16.2. In my Velvet video I made before, I was confused because it said like it was her health regen was 8.2 and it's being reduced to like zero point 0.7. I was like, I don't think that's correct. Like, what the heck? I mean, it is a giant nerf to health regen, but I'm like, I, I said I said it doesn't matter because I was pretty sure that was like a typo or something. I'm pretty sure that was a typo. I'm not even sure what that meant. But yeah, her health regen nerf isn't that big of a deal because she has huge lifesteal. But let me continue. Base attack range was increased by 50, so now she's 175 attack range, which is pretty good because now she doesn't need to depend on her ult to hit you. Bonus attack speed per Lavender stack was 0.25 to 1.25 levels 1 through 18. Now it's 0.28 to 1% levels 1 through 13. Uh, Belveth now also gains 1 stack per large minions, so siege minions and cannon minions. Uh, E was nerfed a little bit. Minimum damage per hit was lowered by 1 per ring, so it was 8 to 20, now it's 8 to 16. The rate 80 ratio is the same though. The lifesteal got nerfed a little bit. It was 20 to 28. Now it's 20 to 26. R Endless Banquet. Sorry, making sure that I'm actually recording. Explosion damage based on targets missing HP was 25 to 35%. Now it's 25% at all ranks. Again, realistically, just look at it as a 5% nerf because level 16 will rarely happen in games, so don't worry about it. Bonus attack range, 50 to 100. Now it's 150 out rank. So again, I'm just gonna finish this. So, Void Remora health was 70%. Now it's 50 to 70% of the minion's maximum HP. So some bug fixes and updates. Her E animation has been tweaked at higher attack speeds. I wonder how that looks. Belveth's true form, basic attack. I'm not sure. Like again, I'm really curious what that means. Like maybe her animation never changed, so now maybe it goes super fast. Belveth's true form basic attack animation has been adjusted to swing slightly less at slower attack speeds. Again, I don't know what that means. She will no longer proc if Belveth attempts to cast Q's voice surge in a direction that is on cooldown. Yeah, that was a bug. That was a bug. I wonder how many people were actually abusing that though. So yeah, RIP. I still think items like a Divine Sunder are probably still good on her. I'm not sure though about that. It might be good on her. Belveth's Q voice surge no longer deals double the intended true damage from our Endless Banquet's passive. Again, I'm not sure what replicated that or if that was just like a bug that always existed. Like you didn't have to do anything fancy. If that was a bug, that's a ginormous nerf. Because depending on when you Q, you lose quite a lot of true damage now, or rather, you were gaining unfair true damage. Fix a bug where if she was already in her true form, Belveth would lose her health bonus upon consuming Void Coral. Yeah, that sounds like a really bad bug. I'm not sure again how consistent that bug was, but that was a really big bug as well. So that's good that they fixed that. Fix a bug where if Belveth's Void Remora attacked an undead Scion, Void Core would spawn where his passive expired. That's just a bug. Fix a bug where Belveth's true form duration sometimes failed to properly refresh upon consuming Void Coral. Again, I'm not sure how consistently that happened, so that's good. Fix a bug where Belveth's basic attack sound effects were sometimes audible to enemies through fog war. I wonder sometimes if there's a lot of fog war bugs this patch, but sometimes I was always it's like how do they know it was there? And I feel like people were bug abusing, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, again, a lot of these changes, both positive and negative, influence her win rate. So I'll be curious to see how she does now. Um, Overall, though, again, her passive, uh, the Lavender stacks. This isn't really a nerf. It's even at like 15, 16, it's not really that big of a nerf. It probably only matters level 18. Even then, though, you're gonna get stacks from siege minions and whatchamacallit, uh, siege minion and cannon minions. So and also it scales slightly better until level 13. I forget if it was level 14 that the current like the previous attack speed bonus was 1%. I forget, but overall, I remember my previous video. This was overall a big buff to help her get to that late game and have more stacks. The attack range buff is huge because at level 6, she will now have the attack range of her level 16 ult form, which is absolutely crazy. I also kind of like it because now it's more consistent with you won't when you're playing her as the game progresses, it won't be like, wow, my attack range. Oh, how am I attacking this far? Like I'm not used to it. And then you go into next game and you're like, oh, my attack range sucks right now. So it's kind of good in that way. But yeah, that attack range buff is so big. It's actually crazy. Melee's getting that attack range buff. Like look at Viego was absolutely crazy that they're nerf it. Same thing with Tom Kench. Um, you probably will still max your E second just because the cooldown's really important. There's arguments to be made though. Because I'll be honest, I think in a lot of my games I would rarely actually use my E two times. It's probably mostly for the damage. It it might be situational that you get your W, but I don't know. It's such a good execute, and they didn't nerf it that much, and they didn't nerf it early, so like this only impacts your mid game, where if you decide to max your W or E. I might experiment with maxing W second. Maybe it's more situational now. I'm not quite sure. Um, because an issue with maxing hello, by the way, with maxing E second is that you're using it for an execution for damage instead of using it for what do you call it? Damage reduction. So maxing W can allow you to not use your E to execute and instead save it for damage reduction. So I think it might even be situational, honestly, overall. So Overall, it's a big buff to belveth. I'm pretty excited to play her. Blitzcrank, his damage on his hook went from 90 to 290. Now it's 105 to 305. This is pretty much probably due to the buff that all the champions have more HP, and it's probably to slightly adjust because he's kind of an all-in champion, so that's fair. Dene damage on his R was 250 to 500. Now it's 275 to 525. So again, overall it's fair. Mundo, his health regen is pretty nuts, especially since his grievous wounds is nerfed like crazy. It was 1 to 2% maximum HP passive health regen. Now it's zero point 0.8 to 1.6. And his increased base HP was 10 to 20% missing HP. Now it's 8 to 15 missing HP. Again, it's fine because, again, he was probably too strong because of the Grievous being nerfed so much. So it's justified. Fiora's has 1% less scaling per 100% bonus AD. It was 5.5. Now it's 4.5% per 100% 100 bonus AD up to target's max HP. It's just because everyone has more HP, so she got a lot of value out of that. Heimer's turrets got buffed as well. They were 150 to 575 HP. Now they're 175 to 700 HP. And the magic damage they deal was 6 to 18%. Now it's 7 to 23. I'm not sure why I'm saying percent. It's just flat numbers, guys. E cooldown was 12. Now it's 11 seconds. So overall, it's good. But again, it's hard to say anything about Heimerdinger because no one really plays him. Ivern, base health cost on his passive was 23.5 to 6.5. Now it's 20 to 3%. Base mana cost was 34.5. No, what was that? 34.5. Yeah, 34.5 to 9%. Now it's 30 to 4.5%. His E, the shield was 70 to 190. Now it's 80 to 220. And his R, the base HP of Daisy is increased by 50, 100, and 150 HP per rank, and armor magic resistance was increased by 5, 10, and 10 again. So overall, uh, pretty big buffs. Again, people don't even play Ivern jungle. I've never even played him, but people are probably gonna play him mid again or whatever because his E is always whenever his E's buffed, he's always played again. So whatever. Bonus movement speed on Janna with her W was 6 to 12%. Now it's 6 to 10%. Slow was 24 to 40%. Now it's 20 to 36%. E shield was 75 to 175. Now it's 65 to 165. So again, very slight nerfs. The movement speed nerf's probably the biggest nerf, but yeah, overall pretty good because she's pretty easy to play. Jarvan's getting buffed apparently. Mana growth was 40. Now it's 55. Mana at level 18 was 980. Now it's 1,235. The cooldown's passive was 6 seconds. Now it's 6 to 3 seconds. At level 1, 6, 11, 16, not 18. So that's pretty big. Overall, again, I don't even think he needed the buff, but the mana cost is honestly whatever. I don't really care about that. I think the mana cost thing is fine because I feel like it's the same thing with the Mumu where I feel like his mana costs are so high that if he were to be active and actually gank lanes, he would run out of mana so fast. I'm not sure about Jarvan. I'm not sure if he actually needed it, but it's whatever. The biggest buff was probably his passive. That passive cooldown can help jungle clear speed and doing objectives a lot. So yeah. You'll see that more. Can we buff a Mumu's mana cost? Thank you. Because we also buff jungle more than support. Canarina. Canarina. So I read this before. This is really funny. So passive. Her passive magic damage upon retrieving a dagger. Bonus AD ratio was 75%. Now it's 65%. The damage on her E was 15 to 75, 50% AD. Now it's 20 to 80, 40% AD, and her R, Death Lotus, physical damage. Physical damage per dagger was 16% plus 12.8% per 1% total attack speed. 1.1 total attack speed. It's now 16 plus 16% per 0.7 total attack speed. Apparently this is a buff, so there you go. On hit effectiveness per dagger was 25 to 35%. Now it's 28 to 38%. The funny thing about this is that overall the R is a ginormous buff. The E, the only nerf really was her passive, and it's barely a buff, barely a nerf. So she lost very little damage, like probably like less than 10 damage. And her E is not even really a nerf. You buffed her base ratio instead of just nerfing. You buffed her base damage instead of just nerfing her ratio, right? And she only builds Divine Sunder. I'm not sure if Conquer gives her 80 or 80 AP, but I don't think that really matters. If you do the math and look at Divine Sunder, I think in total, I think this is actually a net gain for her overall, which is really funny. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's a net gain. Is it? Well, to be honest, right now I just realized it's total 80, I believe, because I don't think it's bonus 80. So is it actually a nerf? Let's say, Well, we're gonna look at Canarina Pass and look at our base AD. It's probably a little bit of a nerf, but it's not that big of a nerf because of them buffing something else. Um, her AD is 58 to 112.4. So let's make her, I don't know, 5 more damage. It's a slight nerf. Again, she probably lost a total of like 10, 15, maybe 20 damage on her combo. It's not the biggest deal. To be honest, I thought this was bonus AD. It's not bonus AD. But it's not the biggest nerf. But and to be honest, she kind of makes it up with her R because she builds Nashers and whatnot. So yeah, whatever. Uh, Again, she's so strong. This isn't really a nerf. People are still gonna build Divine Sunder. Um, Sorry. Lucian, base AD was 62, now it's 60. On 80 carry, it's big, blah, blah, blah. Everyone knows that. Damage was on his Q was 95 to 235. Now it's 95 to 215. Not the biggest. Again, his Q wasn't nerfed that much, but yeah, the base AD can stink. But I mean, if he's so strong, he should be fine, honestly. Seraphine cooldown on her E was 11 to 9 seconds. Now it's 10 seconds. I think you might even max that last. Slow slash stun duration was 1 second. Now it's 1.5 seconds. That's a ginormous buff on Seraphine. I'm happy about it too. I like that they're just. It's crazy they didn't just buff it by like point 0.1 or point 0.2. They just did point 0.5. I kind of think again. I say this on my stream. I still think they should buff Fiddle's Fear by like 0.25 or point 0.5. Like honestly, just do point 0.5 seconds longer because the problem with Fiddle is that he feels really good when no one builds tenacity. But if your enemies have somewhat of the capacity to actually think, if they just take the tenacity ruin, uh, they you your CC just sucks, and you will never get your drain off or anything. And they build merch heads, yeah, you're pretty much worthless in that regard. So I kind of wish they buffed it because I feel like tenacity is so easy to itemize into without even like from the start of the game you can have tenacity. So I just feel like they should buff Fiddle in some way because his fear in the rework his fear was knocked the hardest, and it was probably because again it's funny I'm even talking about Fiddle because he's not even in this patch, but it was knocked the hardest because I feel like Riot was scared that making his ultimate have the potential to AoE fear 5 people is nuts, but like realistically, how often does that happen? Not that often because his R is pretty short range. So I feel like you could easily make the R like if you're worried about it, make it. I don't know. I honestly just think they should buff his fear. That's really all I think. Again, why am I talking about Fiddle? I don't know. Skin balance team, get on it. Thank you. Um, Shaco's very interesting too because it's a very interesting way they're balancing this. Health growth was 103, now it's 99. Health at level 18 was 2,381, now it's 2,313. Armor growth was 4.7, now it's 4. Armor at level 18 was 109.9, now it's 98. Q deceive physical damage was 25 to 65, 25% bonus AD, now it's 25 to 65, 40% bonus AD. W Jack in the Box magic damage was 10 to 30, 9% AP, now it's 10 to 30, 12% AP. E two shift poison was why is there question marks? What the? 70 to 170, 70% bonus AD, 50% AP, to 70 to 170. Maybe because of backstab. I'm not sure why there's question marks. 70 to 170, so the same base damage, 75% bonus AD, 60% AP. So overall, actually, this is actually fine. They didn't buff anything base about Shaco, so he's pretty much the same early game. He only gets stronger if he builds damage. This is also kind of a nerf to like the Aegis Shaco that some people would build sometimes. And I'm actually a big fan that they actually nerfed his sustain or his tank because he has so many tools that actually get out and not die. That's kind of like why does he even need this stuff? and they buffed his damage, but they buffed it only if you invest in damage. You don't get rewarded for building a Sunfire Aegis. It's a nerf Sunfire Aegis. So it's also interesting because there's one writer named Riot Afik, right? Oh, I'm plugging his stream, but um, Riot Plox or Flox, wherever is it? Plox. I don't know. Flox. I don't know how his name is, but that guy, he was talking about assassins, and he was saying, I wonder if we should just like, oh, here's an extreme take. I think we should just make assassins super squishy, but they can have very high single target damage, and they're really good at what they do. And I feel like this is even maybe inspired by him because I think he works on his stuff. Is he nerfed the tank ability of Shaco, but he buffed only the ratios of the champion. So he's not making, oh, this champion does just one shot to you at level 3 or 4. It's if he's doing a good job at doing his job of assassinating people, he'll get stronger, which is fine. I get kind of annoyed because the league, right? People have bad takes on balance, and whenever you talk about make the assassin have to earn the kills, they say, well, assassins have to have high base damages because if they don't get kills, then they don't do their job as an assassin. But then it's like, well, isn't that the point of assassins? Shouldn't assassins be high risk because they're doing because if they succeed all the time, isn't the game just unfun because you just one guy's not allowed to play the game, the AD carry or something or whatever. Um, Synder's getting nerfed in two ways this patch. The W slow was 60%, now it's 50 to 70%. That's pretty big. 10% nerf on his ability. I think he let maxes last is huge. His bonus stats was 30 to 90, now it's 20 to 100. So mid and late game, it's at the same slash it gets buffed, but he probably cares about that early game more, so pretty big. The slow duration is also higher, but like again, he probably cares about the early game more, but he's stronger late game, which I like. I like scaling. Soraka, heal on her R was 125 to 275. Now it's 150 to 350, and it no longer cleanses grievous wounds because grievous wounds aren't as deadly as more, so they don't need to do that anymore. Viego, passive sovereign domination, base heal upon possession was 2.5. Now it's 2% of the target's maximum HP. Again, that's not the biggest. That's such a trim of it doesn't that is not even really a nerf. It's whatever. E hard pass, he can no longer do WE to channel a stun while in the mist. RIP. Again, they don't especially state that it's for solo queue, but they literally. But I'm pretty sure it's for solo queue. I don't think this really happens in pro play much. R His R actually was hit quite a bit. It was 15 to 25%. Now it's 12 to 20% of the target's mass missing HP. Pretty big nerf. It gets worse as the game goes on. But I don't know. A lot of times you don't even use it for execution, so I don't know. It is a nerf though. That's probably the biggest nerf on this entire thing. Viego's still very very strong. One thing that they maybe should look into is making Viegos have to build more attack speed or damage, such as Kraken Slayer and Blade King, instead of this tank Viego stuff like Divine Sunder and like full tank. It was a suggestion, and I actually kind of like that one. So maybe they should look into it, but it'd probably be hard. I'm not sure though. Yorick, Mistwalker base HP was 100 to 185, plus 50% of Yorick's HP. Now it's 110 to 212, plus 20% of Yorick's maximum HP. Miss Walker movement speed was 300, now it's 325. The base HP was 300, 1000, 3000, plus 70% of Yorick's maximum HP. Now it's 350, 1100, 3300, plus 75% of Yorick's maximum HP. And the Made in the Mist marked target chase range was 1600, now it's 1000. And so overall, these are ginormous spots for Yorick. Probably inspired by belveth's minions. So his R, the maiden won't go off and die to a turret. You can easily drag it away from it. If you hit the champion, you want the thing to die to a turret. And yeah, everything's just tankier. So yeah, I just don't see the champion enough, so it's hard to say things about him. Yumi got nerfed because she was healing too much. Shield was 56 to 360. Now it's 60 to 380. Not the biggest nerf. The heal on her E though was 70 to 190. Now it's 70 to 150. So it gets nerfed if you max it first. It's not nerfed if you max it. Like if you, it's a nerf as you rank it up. But the bonus movement speed was 15%. Now it's 20%. So this even kind of encourages, I think, Yumi's to actually max their Q and then their E. Um, I'm not sure how good maxing W is. This is probably a bit stupid, but I could see Yumi's maxing their E last or a second or third instead of maxing their Q, just because the heal, the ratio, the AP ratio is the same at all ranks, so there's no huge incentive to max your E, and you get a ginormous move and speed buff from it. And I think the mana cost is the same at all ranks, but yeah, that 20% movement speed is pretty big. So yeah, Yumi's might just max her Q now, but you have to be good at Yumi with hitting your Qs. Zeri's game changed again. Wow. Health regeneration growth was 0.55, now it's zero point 0.7. Health regeneration at level 18 was 12.6, now it's 15.15. Damage on her W was 10 to 150, 150% AD, 70% AP. Now it's 20 to 160, 138% AD, 60% AP. Critical strike damage, it was 17.5 to 262.5, 262.5 AD, 122.5% AP. Now it's 25 to 280, 227% 0.5 AD, 105% AP. So overall, her W does less damage. Not a whole lot less damage, but it's less damage. Mostly with when she gets like her items and it crits, it can do a lot of damage. Overall the nerfs are fine. The health regen isn't a because usually if she gets caught, she usually dies. So the health regen is fine. This is actually a nerf that's probably actually fine, and not like, oh, we nerf something then we buff something. So wow, good job. Um, Night Harvester, instead of building out of a blasting wand in the recipe, it's now a fiendish codex. So a big buff to Night Harvester. Serpent's Fang was there's a bug where uh, Cerberus Fang no longer applies additional shield reduction beyond 50% based on enemies' bonus heal and shield power. So this is mostly against like shield support. So yeah, that's a minor nerf, but again it was unintended. Shadow Flame, additional magic damage based on ignored MR is no longer mitigated by target's MR. So again, another bug with when using Shadow Flame. So Shadow Flame is a little bit stronger now. Predator got a big nerf. It was 45% movement speed at all ranks. Now it's 25 to 50% levels 7 through 18. The damage was 40 to 120, 20% 80 bonus 80, 10% AP. Now it's 20 to 180, 25% bonus 80, 15% AP. Cooldown was 90 to 60 seconds. So it's 120 to 60 seconds. This was this again nerf singed mid because people are just abusing Predator a lot. I think it's more so abused in solo queue than pro play. I don't see Predator being taken in pro play. This is just some solo queue bullshit strategy. So it's actually really good that they nerfed it. It's quite a ginormous nerf. Level 7 to start scaling it is insane. The damage is better, but people don't really take it for the damage. Um, Again, it's so good. It was just way too strong. So good they nerfed it. Uh, this is a huge change. So vision. All jungle monsters and wards will now be visible instantly, even upon dashing or blinking into visible range. Yeah, this was a big bug that has been in the game for a while. Where, for instance, if you like, I think like Rek'Sai Tunnel or Zac E, or flash over a wall, you won't see the jungle camp for a split second, and it was just kind of funky. It was very inconsistent too. So now when you try to do like a Baron steal and you have no vision, you'll actually see the Baron right away, and you can smite steal it. However, losing vision of monsters and wards will continue to have a slight delay. Uh, when you like walk out of a bush, for instance, and there was a control ward, you'll lose that of I believe the vision like after a slight delay instead of right away. So overall, this is a pretty big because sometimes when it hasn't happened lately, but in some champions when I'm playing, I would just lose vision and it was just really weird. Like so, this is a really big buff or gameplay adjustment. The whole vision it would probably make the game not feel as like I don't know weird. So that's good. Essence Emporium's apparently being like taking a year break. So whatever. I'm not sure why. Some mythic chromas. So I don't really care about this stuff. Oh, behavioral systems. Muting a player during champion select will now carry over to in-game and end of game. This also means that muting someone in-game will carry over to end of game. Additionally, individual players' mute status can now be viewed and toggled in the in-game screen. So again, probably Wookie Cookie, right? That guy, if he works there still, that guy just keeps on thinking of ideas every week. He's like, you know what, we gotta do this now. But yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like sometimes people wouldn't mute people in game because, or in the lobby, because they're like, well, why am I gonna bother muting them when they get unmuted in game? So now I feel like there's more incentive to actually mute a toxic person on your team or an annoying person before the game starts, just so he doesn't annoy you in the game. So that's good. Um, but what else? I don't think there's really anything else. Do. Oh, Sona can no longer gain an additional passive power core to empower basic attack by casting an ability immediately after another empowered basic attack. Doran's Ring Drain passive has been restored and will properly regenerate health if you already have full mana. So apparently Doran's Ring wasn't functioning, guys. um, if Olaf hit a blast cone with his R, he wouldn't get a bounce. Now he will. Um, Olaf's W will now interact with Hail Blades, and now he can get 4 attacks in Hail Blades instead of it not counting as an auto reset. So that's pretty big. If Olaf E'd a champion getting hit by a tower, it would heal a tower. That's really weird. Um, Silas, if he stole Lux's R, it would cost him mana when it should cost nothing. Uh, Wukong's Q wasn't giving tier stacks apparently. Um, Champion created clones can no longer apply the burn effect from Ember Knife and Pale Blaze Tier's passive. I think this is mostly towards Wukong because I'm not sure what other champion has clones, but I'm not sure if the damage the clone does when it disappears is what it means, or if it means just the auto attacks from the clone. Like maybe LeBlanc's. I don't know if LeBlanc's clone does damage, but like that might be a slight nerf to Wukong or something. I'm not sure what that is exactly. I'll probably would test that just to see what that means. Um, fix a bug where the visual effects for Banshee's Veil and Edge of Night would sometimes not be visible. That's pretty big. Fix a bug where even Shroud's passive would incorrectly also count as a slow. Not sure what that implies. Um, several effects like voice sounds and sound effects. No, oh, visual effects and sound effects. So visual effects being Everfrost and sound effects of Orange E, Crown of the Shadow Queen, Dead Man's Plate, Turbo Chem Tank, Zonia's Hourglass, and Stopwatch have been fixed and will no longer be visible or audible through the Tog of War. And to be honest, I saw this yesterday. I was listening to some hacker who had a Dead Man's Plate. I kept on hearing a Dead Man's Plate. It was kind of crazy. I think it made my character talk, acting like she thought he was near. Like it was kind of weird. It was funky. So that's good they fixed that. It's really weird when that stuff happens. I'm not sure why that's happening so much, but it's good that they're fixing it right away. Cyan Carthus and Cognitive Corpses would act as an active unit in creep block. That has been fixed. Um, that's pretty much it. So yeah, that's the patch notes. Overall, pretty good, pretty fair. Canarina probably still needs nerfs. The Mumu jungle is pretty good. And yeah, belveth, the health regen doesn't really matter because she has really good sustain because, bless you, because again, if minions have like 10 HP left and she Qs the minion and deals like 200 damage to every not minion but like say raptors, she'll get the full 200 HP heal like omnivamp heal. So yeah, it's not really that big of a nerf. Again, this is a quite a giant buff. It wouldn't surprise me if we saw a hotfix nerf if she was OP. Uh, we'll see though. I mean, again, the definitive 100% nerfs are her E as you rank it up. So mid game nerf and potential late game, and her R damage mid and late game. The void for more health. I'm not sure how much that matters. Um, I don't think that matters even that much honestly, because she gets it back anyway. So, yep. Bye.